morning and welcome to today's class. Today we'll be looking at the topic relative adjectival clause and the function. Relative or adjectival clause and the function. Now at the end of the lesson, the student should be able to define a relative clause. They should be able to make sentence examples showing a relative clause, and they should be able to list two classifications of a relative clause. What is a relative clause? A relative clause is also known as an adjectival clause. And then an adjectival clause is a clause that qualifies a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. I repeat, an adjectival clause is a clause that qualifies a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. It is also known as a relative clause. The noun so qualified in the main clause is called the antecedent. An adjectival clause is usually introduced by a relative pronoun, either implied or expressed. These are who, whom, whose, which, that, when, where, and so on and so forth. Like I said, when we're talking about a relative clause, number one thing about it is that a relative clause qualifies a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. It is also introduced by the relative pronouns like who, like whom, like whose, and so on and so forth. Now I have sentence example. Number one, I have the woman whom you saw is my mother. The woman whom you saw, the words in red color are the relative clauses. The woman, which is the noun, whom you saw is the relative clause, is my mother. Number two, we have the cup that I left on the table has broken. And number three, I have I know the place where Sam was buried. Now, how do we identify an adjectival or relative clause? The first thing to know about an adjectival clause in a sentence is that it qualifies a noun or pronoun in a sentence. I repeat, it qualifies a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. To qualify a pronoun is to describe it further for reference and identification. For instance, if we say, the book which you bought yesterday, the book which you bought yesterday. Now we are talking about the particular book. It's not the one you borrowed, neither is it the one you gave out. Rather, we are talking about the particular one you bought yesterday. Now, which you bought yesterday is an adjectival clause in the expression. It qualifies the noun in the expression by describing the type of book. A book bought, not borrowed. Then another way you can be able to identify your adjectival clause is that they are introduced by relative pronoun. They are introduced, an adjectival clause is introduced by relative pronoun, and the relative pronouns are who, whose, whom, and that. So once you see these ones introduced in a sentence, know that it is an adjectival clause. Number three, we have the third important fact about an adjectival clause is that it is very close to the noun or pronoun they qualify. They are always lying side by side, very close. If an adjectival clause is qualifying a noun, it is always very close to the noun it is qualifying. Now look at the expression. I have, I lost the address which you gave me. I lost the address which you gave me. Looking at the sentence, the address is the noun. So which you gave me is the relative clause. As you can see, both of them are lying side by side. I lost the address which you gave me. Which you gave me is an adjectival clause in the expression. Note, the adjectival clause is very close to the address, which is the noun it qualifies. Now, classifications of adjectival clauses. Adjectival clauses are classified into two. A, the restrictive or defining adjectival clause. Now, when we talk about, as the name implies, restrictive, they say is an integral part of the sentence where it occurs and cannot be easily removed from the sentence, since doing that distorts the original meaning of the sentence. Now, when we talk about restrictive adjectival clause, it is a part of the sentence. If you remove it from the sentence, automatically it will change the meaning of the sentence. So it is a part of the sentence. Example, we have the boy whom we met 2 days ago is very intelligent. The boy whom we met 2 days ago is very intelligent. Now, this whom we met 2 days ago is the adjectival clause, and it qualifies the noun, the boy. Number 2, the man whose children were expelled came to see the principal. The man whose children were expelled came to see the principal. Whose children were expelled is qualifying the noun, the man. The book which my father bought are for my younger brother. The book which my father bought are for my younger brother. The books which my father bought is qualifying the noun, the book. Then we have non-restrictive clause. This is a clause which provides information that has nothing to do with the meaning of the sentence in which it occurs. It can be removed without distorting the original meaning of the sentence. They are marked off by commas. Example, we have the novel which my father bought for me is very interesting. If we remove which my father bought for me, it doesn't stop the novel from being interesting. And that is why we say it's non-restrictive. You can remove it and still maintain the meaning. The novel which my father bought for me is very interesting. This expression simply means the novel is very interesting. For your information, my father bought it for me. It qualifies the novel in the main sentence. Then we have, I have a son who lives at Metama. And then I have a son who lives at Metama. The first one does not have a comma to it. It means he has more than one son who lives at Metama. And the second one is saying she has one son who lives at Metama. Sometimes the relative pronoun is in a defining clause is omitted when it is in the objective form. This example we have, this is the house that or which I want to buy. This is the house. Now the one, you can choose to put that or which, or you can choose not to put. You can say this is the house I want to buy, or you can say this is the house that I want to buy, or this is the house which I want to buy, depending on your preference. I just want you to be aware that it can be omitted when it is in the objective case. Now I hope I have been able to put you through to understand what we mean by an adjectival clause, and that you'll be able to identify adjectival clause, be able to give me the classifications of adjectival clauses with your example, and be able to make sentence examples showing adjectival clause. Thank you for listening to today's lesson. I hope to see you next time. Have a nice day.